Bender became a paparazzi photographer. To create scandals, Bender even carried props with him everywhere. However, he had never managed to photograph any scandals involving Cobb because Cobb always wore a bag over his head. So that evening, Bender set up a ladder and climbed over the high wall around Cobb's house. But then, he encountered a vicious dog covered in mushrooms in the yard. In his panic, Bender climbed up onto a gazebo. At this moment, Cobb was preparing to enjoy some red wine, completely unaware that Bender was hiding in the fireplace. When Cobb wasn't paying attention, Bender snapped a photo of him. After returning, he showed the photo to Fry.
He looked at the photo and that happened.
Bender initially thought this was just a coincidence, but when Amy looked at the photo, she also transformed into that state. Then Hermes walked over, and after looking at the photo, he too became like that. It turned out that Cobb was a parasitic creature that fed on attention, sustaining himself on the admiration of his prey. Anyone who looked at his photograph would have their life force drained away by him. Moreover, they consisted of two parts, an id composed of algae and an ego composed of fungi. As it happened, tonight Cobb was going to face off against Calculon. If Calculon could defeat Cobb, it would deal a blow to his ID. To help Calculon win, Leela gave him a bottle of poison so he could perform the ultimate death scene. Fortunately, after drinking the poison, Calculon's performance captivated the entire audience. But because Calculon had died, Cobb was still the winner. His ego rapidly expanded and burst into the competition venue. At the critical moment, Bender remembered that Cobb was also a living being. If he could make Cobb look at a photograph of himself, it might drain away his own life force. So Bender began developing the photo in a dark room. Meanwhile, Cobb had also absorbed the life force of Leela and Hubert. When Bender emerged, they had already become empty shells. But after Cobb saw his own photograph, his ego began to rapidly expand and ultimately exploded completely. The others returned to their normal state. Bender suggested they all take a group photo together as a memento.
Say Bender is great!
Bender is great!